Starting off this edition by taking you straight to Venezuela, where hundreds of youth have gathered to protest against Nicolas Maduro. Supporters of Maduro's rival have been taking to the streets to mount pressure on the president, Nicolas Maduro. Government opponents are hoping to pressurize President Nicolas Maduro into allowing humanitarian aid into the country. That's been one of the sticking points, which has angered those who are protesting against Nicolas Maduro all the more. Remember, he's been preventing supplies of basic facilities, food, medicinal supplies and hygiene products that are currently stockpiled in Colombia's Cucuta area, but they've not been allowed to bring in those supplies into Venezuela because Nicolas Maduro refused to budge. Venezuelan troops have also blocked the bridge leading to the border town so that they cannot bring in those relief supplies into Venezuela. And those protests being just a sample of the unrest that Venezuela has found itself in over the last few weeks. As that political crisis in the oil-rich country deepens, the country's oil minister, Manuel Quevedo, has said that it wants to double its oil supplies to India and is open to barter payment arrangements. Remember, India is one of the world's largest crude oil consumers, and Venezuela is looking for a way to keep its oil exports flowing after its largest consumer, the United States, froze purchases in a bid to push President Nicolas Maduro out of power. Venezuela, which buys medicines and other products from India, aims to double oil supplies to India from 300,000 barrels per day to 500,000 barrels at least. Meanwhile, Venezuela has accused the Donald Trump administration of resorting to blackmail to steal its vast reserves of oil, gold and water resources. Venezuela's energy minister told WION World is one in an exclusive conversation in New Delhi that blackmail is Washington's weapon to cripple Venezuela's oil industry and destroy its economy. The minister also says that Venezuela is capable of meeting India's energy requirements and that the rupee is an excellent market for Venezuelan oil. Take a listen in to an excerpt from that exclusive interview.
Muchas gracias por esta entrevista y ante todo le traemos un saludo del gobierno bolivariano del presidente Nicolás Maduro.
The general outlook of the relationship that we built between India and Venezuela over the years, and our presence here at Petrotech 2019 is, of course, attending the invitation of the Indian government to continue the different meetings we've had here, the different associations and so on, and he has met private and public Indian companies, ministry, prime minister, people interested in the oil and the gas from Venezuela, and we would like more investment from different places. And he particularly mentioned the good, the sound, positive relationship between the vision of the world for cooperation among nations for a multipolar world.
Es un intercambio en pleno desarrollo.
We are exploring all different mechanisms, and India is also interested in different mechanisms. The world is full of markets, and there is a dollar market, but there are other currency markets, and certainly the rupee is an excellent market. Nowadays there are different models of finance channels, of payment channels. We are using all of them. We want to explore all of them, and India is showing the interest also in exploring different possibilities. So we are dealing in different currencies. And as he said, the world is not just the dollar, and the oil market is not just the United States market. And India and Venezuela are very good friends in constructing a world economy. The exploration is ample, and we have never said that we are that we should continue or that we should only embark on. And certainly that's not the way we are doing business. And it's not the only way. The discussion and conversation is purchase and sale. And we are purchasing and selling, and India purchases and sells. We have the oil India needs. India has refineries, and India has a very big development need and an energy justice need. And Venezuela is there capable of supplying the need. The world oil market is a big one. Certainly the dollar market is a strong one, but it's not the only one. And certainly the United States oil market is one, but it's not the only one. And for world justice and for world balance and for world multipolar purposes, we need many markets. And that's what we are contributing with India to build. That's an attempt to steal, and actually is stealing assets from Venezuela to affect the oil industry. Frankly speaking, obviously, they want to seize Citgo, which is the Venezuelan property, petroleum company in the United States, which has 3 refineries and 6,000 petrol stations. They are affecting our property in the United States by illegally declaring that is their property and stopping the payment to Venezuela of the oil we sell to them. And they have then started, not now, a few years ago, especially now also with an emphasis in hitting Venezuela with financial and economic and oil snipers to destroy Venezuela's oil industry and to destroy the possibility of the Venezuelan economy strengthening. So blackmail is their weapon. What blackmail is what they are using against the development of many companies around the world with whom Venezuela does trade, proper trade, fair trade, open trade, transparent trade. And the United States government then hits individual companies and corporations around the world to cripple Venezuela's oil industry, and to cripple Venezuelan economy, to cripple the Venezuelan state, so that we don't have the possibility and the capacity to defend our natural resources and our oil. They take away the insurance coverage to worldwide companies. To vessel owners, you cannot go and take Venezuelan oil. So this is illegal, this is criminal, this is unfair trade, this is trade behind doors. We have been revising different policy issues. We have been revising also how to expand the work, the strategic associations with Indian companies in Venezuela through ONGC, exploration and production processes and technology. And we have also been discussing on how to expand, give power and potential to all the products with public and private enterprises. And he's expressing that quite in a positive way, that it's coming along. The same President Trump himself, he said it. They are going to make sure that the oil in Venezuela and the riches in Venezuela go to North American companies. He said it himself. And also other personalities from his government, like John Bolton. He himself directly said, we are going to make sure that the oil of Venezuela goes to North American companies. So it is in respect to the conscience and the international institutions that abide by the logic and the development of nations and the development of civilization. That is an irrespect to every nation in Asia, every nation in Latin America. We will not accept that, and that's why millions of people in Venezuela are protecting and supporting the government of President Maduro, and not only oil, but coltan, gold, and water and strategic reserves. The world is for multilateral business, not for unilateral, illegal, and criminal actions. So India and Venezuela are on top of the rationale of respect, multipolar and energetic justice. The world oil market is there so that nations can develop.
President Vladimir Putin wants Russia to unplug itself from the internet. This has been done to test its cyber defenses. The test will mean data passing between Russian citizens and organizations stays within the nation's borders rather than being routed internationally. A draft law mandating technical changes needed to operate independently was introduced in its parliament last year. The test is expected to take place before the 1st of April, but no exact date has been set yet. The draft law requires Russia's ISPs or internet service providers to ensure that they can operate in the event of foreign powers acting to isolate the country online. The law could also see Russia creating its own version of the internet's address system or domain name system, with the idea being it could still operate if links to servers located abroad are disconnected. Eventually, the Russian government wants all domestic traffic to pass through its own points. This is believed to be part of an effort to set up a mass censorship system akin to the one seen in China, which tries to scrub out prohibited traffic. The nation, accused of planning to use submarines to cut vital international cables, now wants to make sure its own economy can survive offline. And we earlier spoke to IT expert Adrian Mars from London. Here's what he said.
Absolutely. There's two reasons, of course. One is, as you say, to do with China, to build a firewall. Russia has a history of internet censorship already. They regularly block websites that hold information that, shall we say, opposed to their views. So anything, for instance, to do with the Ukraine, almost anything that they see as dissent has been blocked. They've also blocked services like Telegram, which has end-to-end encryption, preventing the monitoring. And that was actually written by a Russian. So that's one side of it, and it enables them to force all traffic to go through endpoints that are run by Russia's telecom watchdog, Roskomnadzor. And on the other hand, they're also getting, as you've said, increasingly concerned by the outside world's, and particularly NATO's, and in particular the US, Britain, Germany, Norway, Spain, Denmark, and the Netherlands, who are drawing up plans by 2019, they say, on how they'll react to cyber attacks.